Hey, Cosmosis Cast in the house, bringing another dance break to ya. And I just got in from a walk. I've still got my sloth here. So soft and nice to squeeze. So I just got in from a walk, and I'll just share real quick how I am really pushing my edges right now, and diving into my shadows so that they can be integrated, and change form using my attention and intentions to create a new pattern. Which actually, I drew this card to start the day off. This is the Tower card in tarot. It's intense. Um, and it is all about like serious, like all-encompassing transformation, basically self-knowledge, healing, changing patterns. And that's what I've been pushing myself into today, in the realm of love and relationships and releasing past lovers. That's what I am tasked with right now. And I realized I had a way in which I was self-abandoning, really in a huge way with this one particular one, who just like, oh my gosh, the experience was in a lot of ways just like so really good to me that I tried to, like, on a subconscious level, kind of bypass the ways in which basically, like, it was, I was self-abandoning to, ask for validation basically from somebody who was unavailable, essentially. And it would show up in really small ways so that, you can kind of like, you know, um, not really pay too much attention to it. So I was exploring, how can I really completely do this kind of like, oh, I'll just send a random text to say, like, hi, like, I still exist. Hi, can I have some attention, please? um, from somebody who's, it's just not a reciprocal thing. So it's like this subtle act of self abandon, a subtle act of disrespect to self, essentially, because why am I trying to get validation from someone else? Like, all I really need is validation from me, right? So um really stepping into the discomfort of really spotlighting that. So I actually, like, was recently through my abundance course was tasked with, wait, hey, so choose somebody who's hurt you and write a letter of gratitude to them to kind of like feel like the goodness that you're receiving through something that might have been a pain point. And so I wrote that to them, and no intention to mail it. But then I was like, what if I like actually, like, imagine if I actually like sent it, or like I showed up at the door with it. Like, how like weird, and like, like just a full on self abandon there where you're like, please, like, hi. So I was like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna make myself really uncomfortable by doing an extreme version of the shit that I had been doing already, so I can really get clear with this kind of like level of like, oh, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to give myself? Let me just get really clear with how much I don't want to give my energy to something that is not giving back. So I went there, and I let myself stand there in full discomfort and absolute survival stress activation, heart pounding, body saying, I need to run for my fucking life. But in the same time, I'm feeling my trust in myself. I am present to myself. I am not abandoning. I am like, yes, We are doing this. This is fucking really scary, but it's okay because we're very present to ourselves and we know we are doing this for our own sense of self clarity. Um, and so I let myself do that for a little bit, and then I actually like tuning into that survival activation and what really wants to happen when that adrenaline's pumping and everything. Something really big wants to happen, essentially. And I used it. I just like I got onto the sidewalk where I could actually run, and I just took off and like moved it out of my system. So yeah, that's what I'm playing with. Um, the thing I was thinking about today was just tuning into like the Aikido energy while dancing, which is really all about sensing our connection to our environment, the blending of the inner and the outer worlds, the way in which, like, how can we celebrate how the unity of like all life flowing together at once in this moment. We are a part of it. It is a part of us, equal exchange happening between us and the floor, between us and the things around us and the space in between. Um, so flowing, really sensing like a connection, like an intent and a focus. Very much like how can we spiral in our movements, find the circles, find an access point to move from. So like we would circle around that word, yeah. Um, and maybe having a yielding quality. So kind of like water like. It's like how water is flowing through it all, energy in and out. What can be fun also is imagining, say, your arms as your hands and arms as swords, and you are wielding them with intent, strong lines, while you find those circles, while you sense that magical connection between inner and outer worlds, the swirling, getting swept up, earth and sky, all dancing together. So, yeah, and it's funny, the abundance challenge that I have today, like I didn't read the affirmation before I chose this. And the affirmation is I celebrate the unity of all life, knowing all is one. So it's interesting, right? Like that very much falls in line with the energy of Aikido. So yes, let us root in and with intention find that connection and that flow between inner and outer, between like me and everything else. Where's the separation? Maybe there is none. All right. So the song today is Lonely Island by CloZee. Mm, my mouth is really dry now. So, yes, movement breaks. So good for revitalization and connection to the world around us. And the way that there's nothing to do but like surrender to that beautiful flow. And part of that beautiful flow is noticing where our needs are and leaning in so that we can give them to ourselves like water. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So much love to you. See you next time.